Hello, welcome to RC Video Reviews. This is the first video in the beginner plane series sponsored by FMS. We're going to start out with the 1400mm Skytrainer 182, and I've got a handful of other planes and merchandise as we go through the week, and be ready for a live stream. During the live stream, we're going to give away all kinds of stuff. Really cool coupon codes, airplanes, all kinds of giveaways, merchandise, a lot happening on that live stream, so be on the lookout for that. And for the live stream, because I have the ability to give away one of the planes, I decided the way I want to handle it this time is I want to reward people that watch the videos. So you have to watch all of the videos and you have to capture the number. Capturing the number from every video will give you a chance to win a free plane during the live stream. So the number for this video is 7. You'll need to know all the numbers for all the videos in order to have a chance at winning the plane that I'll be giving away during the live stream. So the number for this video is 7. All right, let's start talking about the plane. This is the 1400mm Skytrainer 182, and I can tell you guys I've got a real soft spot for this airplane because I was licensed to fly full scale in an airplane just like this. So when FMS said they were going to send a Skytrainer 182 out, I was very excited because I really want to fly this plane. So it's a 1400mm version. This one is a plug and play, and it comes with a Reflex V2 gyro. I can tell you, having flown a number of FMS planes at this point, that the Reflex V2 gyros mostly are pretty good. They do a very good job at stabilization and auto level, and for a plane like this, I'm sure it will perform well. This plane retails for $229. Of course, I'll have a link in the description for this airplane if you'd like to get one for yourself, and it will be an affiliate link, so if you use my link, just be aware the channel gets a little bit of a kickback. That's paid by FMS. It doesn't cost you anything extra. As a plug-and-play airplane, the Skytrainer will include everything you need to fly except for the receiver and battery. So that means it includes the motor, the ESC, and the servos. You'll have to supply your own receiver and your own battery. This particular model uses a 3-bladed propeller and a chrome spinner, and it does include flaps. Of course, no retracts on this one though. All right, let's get the airplane out of the box and take a look. I've removed the outer decorative box, but I wanted to pause here and give you a look at how FMS packs things. I've often commented during first looks that FMS does an exceptional job on packing, and this airplane is no different. You can see the interior containers made out of EPS styrofoam, and they've got this kind of soft packing material taped to the outside to protect the plane. And then once you remove the cover, you can see how nicely everything's packed inside. So they do a really good job providing separation and making sure your plane arrives undamaged. I just spent a little bit of time thumbing through the manual, and I have to tell you, I'm actually impressed. This is a beginner plane, and they really spent a lot of time explaining to beginners how things work. They have a really nice layout page showing all the parts you should have, what the part numbers are, what size battery. It is a 3-cell 2200, by the way. So what size battery you need. They talk a little bit about charging the flight battery, and I was very impressed with that they included that type of information. For those of you who've been doing this for a while, you get that, but you got to remember, if you're new to flying, this information is invaluable to have. And I would tell you that what I see is okay. They have the charging stop voltage typical at 4.2, min at 4.19, max at 4.21. If you're new, 4.2, that's your number. And actually 4.18 is actually okay. So I do think that's kind of cool that they include that level of detail for beginners. And then as you thumb through the rest of the manual, there's quite a bit of information about how the airplane is assembled, how all the parts work together. There are black and white pictures, but that's fine. You know, they do the job. The pictures seem to be detailed enough. So I think this is really nice. I was surprised when I got to the back of the manual because so many times these FMS manuals have multiple languages. This one is English only. But it looks to be a pretty comprehensive manual with lots of good detail on setting up the airplane for first use. So nice job on the manual, especially for beginners. In addition to the regular aircraft manual, there's a little bit of an addendum on the reflex system and how you set that up as well. So nice job on the documentation. Now let's take a look at the fuselage, the Skytrainer 182. The canopy pops off, looks like it's held on with a couple of magnets, which is fine. And then the motor, a 35-36 800 kV, and it's mounted with a very basic square aluminum mount. And you have access to the nose wheel assembly up front. So you can loosen your grub screw, pop your nose gear in, tighten things down the way they're supposed to be. So very tidy arrangement, easy access up front, it all looks good. I checked out the ESC, and this is a Predator 40 amp ESC. Remember, 3-cell battery on this one, and it is a 3-bladed prop. We'll get to that in just a minute. The graphics on the side look very nice, and then look at the inside. I was very impressed with the cockpit. Not only do they have a civilian pilot in there flying the plane, but check out the avionics, man. They've got a single pane of glass avionics set up, which is actually pretty cool. Very modern. Nice touch. The Lexan on the side is actually smoked. It's not clear, so it's smoked or tinted glass on the side. And here's a look at the starboard side of the fuselage. On the tail of the plane, the empennage is a glue-in affair. That's unfortunate. I wish it were screw-in, because if it's screw-in, you can either take it apart and store it if you want, or if you have a repair, it's a lot easier to do if you can just unscrew the broken part. But that's what it is. It's a glue-in affair on this one. There's a connector on the back for navigation lights, and then you've got your push rods for the control horns on the back, and notice they have fuel tubing on the clevises already installed. I do like that. On the belly of the plane, there are mounts for the landing gear, and then the battery tray is down here. There's a couple of squeeze tabs. You just pull those in and pop those out, and yay, they use an XT60 connector on the ESC. That's awesome. And there is already Velcro in there for your battery. So you can drop your battery in there, connect it up, and you'll be ready to fly. So that's where your battery goes on this plane. Nice thing about the battery tray on the bottom is you don't have to worry about a door or futzing around underneath a wing while you're trying to manipulate the battery. The downside, of course, is that you got to get it on the belly in order to get the battery in there. There's also a compartment in the back, and it looks like that gives you access to the elevator and rudder servos. So if you need to maintain those or make adjustments or changes, easy to get to those two. Nicely done, and that just pops in there with the magnet. And along the top, you can see the saddle for the wing, a couple of brass inserts where the wing screws will screw in, and there's a plastic insert up front that'll capture the front of the wing. So I think everything looks like it's well done up here. I don't see any issues. I like the way it looks. And I definitely like the color scheme. Very clean color scheme. White, blue, and black looks great. I know that's gonna have a lot of nice contrast when we're up there flying, so this will look good in the air. I'm sure of that. Next up, we'll take a look at the wings. This is the starboard wing, and we've got N9258, nav lights out here on the corners, and this has got full house controls. You've got servos in place for the ailerons and the flaps. You are gonna have to install your horns, and it looks like there is a spot up there for a top plate, which I approve of. I'm very happy that FMS does that. I like to sandwich the control surface between the horn and a plate on top. And these are EPO hinges, so make sure you flex them before you connect those servos up. You just got to loosen them up just a little bit before you get those servos connected. On the inboard section of the wing, there's a locating pin that will match up with the canopy to lock the wing in place. And then for the leading edge, everything looks very straight there. I don't see any issues, and I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up, but there is just a touch of dihedral. Not a lot on this plane. It's not crazy, but it is there. I can see the dihedral. And then your wires are tucked away here on the sides. There is a wire here marked gear, and you've got flap and aileron. So I'm pretty sure the one that's marked gear is not for landing gear. That's probably gonna be for the nav light out here on the wingtip. So you see gear, that's probably what that means. That's probably gonna be nav light, because obviously this one doesn't have retracts. At any rate, I don't see any issues with the starboard wing. Let's take a look at the port wing. For the port wing, I noticed the landing light right here. That's kind of cool, man. That's a nice little touch. That's where it goes on this plane. Here's a nav light out here on the wing tip, and I'm just kind of looking down the leading edge, and I don't see any problems there. I'll give you guys a view in the camera so you can get a look as well, but that looks like a pretty straight edge. I don't see any problems there. And while we're at it, there's a look at the trailing edge, and of course, same situation. You've got EPO hinges for your flaps and your ailerons. Just make sure you flex those before connecting. And you've got a big old FMS logo on there. So if you want to let people know what you're flying, you got an FMS logo right there to tell everybody. On the bottom of the wing, they've done a nice job covering up the servos and the wiring with this white colored tape. So that blends things in and gives it a nice finished look. Vertical stabilizer looks nice and straight to me. Again, EPO hinges on the back for the rudder. And yep, there's no capture for screws, so you got to glue this one in. And there's the connector for the navigation light right there on the top. Very nice. I like it. There's a look at the horizontal stabilizer. Let's get it on the edge and we'll take a look. And that looks perfectly straight to me. Again, no captures for screws, so you have to glue this one in. The elevator does use a torque tube, but it's made out of plastic and it's already attached. And there is a spot here for the top plate and the control horn there on the bottom. So no issues with the elevator, same deal, EPO hinges, don't forget to flex them. There's a USB-C cable to connect your Reflex V2 gyro to your computer. Last up, we'll take a look at the landing gear and the hardware. So the landing gear is already assembled, and I think that's a nice touch too. Just saves you a little bit of time. You don't have to worry about getting the wheels and the pants on there. It's already done for you. The only thing you've got to do is screw it into the airplane. So the screws for that are in the bag, and you've got your nose wheel and your two main gear. No problems there. Nice little striping on the side of the wheel pants. Very elegant. Looks nice. I like the color scheme on this. Understated. Kind of like it. We've got a couple of decorative pieces, including what looks like maybe a pitot tube, a little bit of hardware, our control horns and top plates. And by the way, they're clear. That's actually a nice touch. I like that. We've got our push rods with a couple of more clevises and fuel tubing. And then on the back side, we've got our spinner and a couple of Y cables for things like flaps and ailerons, I'm sure. And last up is the prop. This is a 3-bladed 11x6 propeller. As part of the beginner series, FMS has sent me a bunch of ancillary equipment for airplanes, and I intend on showing you a little bit during each first look video. So what I've got in front of you today is an airplane cover. You can see this one fits a 1400mm wingspan like the Skytrainer just perfectly. And take it from me, I live in Florida. These EPO planes, when you get them out in the heat, if it's really hot outside, that sun can cause your EPO to bubble up. It gets this alligator skin, especially where you have dark colors like stripes or where you have a canopy and that canopy retains heat. So these wing covers are a really good idea if you want to keep your EPO plane looking sharp. Of course, there will be an affiliate link in the description if you'd like to pick one up for yourself. That wraps up my first look at the 1400mm Skytrainer by FMS. I'd like to say thanks to FMS for sending this plane out for review. And I want to remind you, if you want a chance to win one of the airplanes being given away during the live stream, you'll need to know all the numbers for the FMS Beginner Series videos. The number for this video is 7. You'll need that on the live stream. If you like this kind of content, make sure you smash that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when new videos hit the channel. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy and go fly something.